setting today. I'm in my kitchen because I thought I'd talk to you guys while I'm doing a few dishes. Sorry about the overhead light. Let me see. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay, so I just wanted to talk to you guys about being uncomfortable sometimes for doing things when it comes to Christ, okay? The other day, my husband had one of his coworkers, because my husband told him about our channel, or told me about the channel, and he said, "What's the channel's name?" so that I can tell my coworker, because I keep forgetting what it is, and I've told my husband over and over again what it is. But my first thought was like, man, you know, I've discussed our finances on here. I've discussed certain things that we're going through that I don't know if you know, his coworker would look at my husband in a different light or not. So that was the devil giving me those thoughts. He was like, you know what, you shouldn't tell him. You should tell your husband not to tell him because you don't want anybody to know. But then I was like, you know what, I only did, and I've only said what God has called me to and what God has told me to say. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give him my YouTube name, and I don't care what he says or what he thinks, because I have only said and done what the Holy Spirit has leaded me and guided me to say. And my point in all of this is, you're gonna have to not be ashamed of God. I mean, there are gonna be things that God is gonna direct you to say, things that he's gonna direct you to do that it's not gonna be so desirable in other people's eyes or in other people's in the world per se, but you're doing what God has called you to do and what God has told you to do. And so I gave him the name. I don't know if he's looked at the channel or not yet, but my point in doing this video is, don't let the devil steal your fire. That's exactly what he's trying to do. God has called me to use what happens to me in my life as a testimony to help his people. That's what I'm here for. My dad, actually, we were talking today, and he said, God has given you the grace to get on YouTube and to be a voice in his kingdom. I never really thought about it that way, but I know that that was God using my dad to confirm that to me. Because sometimes, even still, because I didn't want to get on YouTube, and I don't want to have to, you know, be out on the internet and out in the world and all this stuff. But sometimes that gets to me, and sometimes I'm compelled to think, well, let me just you know, stop what I'm doing. I think I've done enough. I think I've done what I've needed to do. But that's not what God has. He still is not finished with me yet. He still has a couple of things for me to do. Or he still, not just a couple, but he still has many more things for me to do. So he keeps telling me to keep going with this channel, keep going with this channel, keep speaking my word and keep speaking my truth. And what I'm trying to tell you guys today is, no matter what it is that God has called you to do, you do it. No matter how comfortable it is, no matter what people think, no matter what people will say, because I'm telling you, people will look down on you. You will lose family members because of this. Because of sometimes what God has called you to do. You will lose family members, you will lose friends, you will lose favor in people's eyes. People will look at you differently. They're going to be like, she's just completely nuts. What is she doing? But continue. Keep striving. Keep doing what God has called you to do. Because if you don't do it, you're going to suffer for it anyway. You're going to struggle. You're going to not have peace. You're going to not have joy. Everything is going to come crashing down. I'm a witness to it. I've run away from my calling for so long that I allowed everything else to take prevalence in my life until everything came crashing down in me anyway. And so I went ahead and took the leap of faith. I got my little camera out, which is my phone. And I started recording, and look at the wonders that God has brought forth through I haven't even been on here a full year yet, and look at what God has brought, the fruit that God has brought forth through just me. I don't even have any fancy setup. I'm in my kitchen right now, you know. I just made my coffee. Would you guys see my coffee pot? I just finished my dishes. I was washing dishes, and God was like, get this out there, get this out there. And when God nudges you to do something, you do it. It doesn't matter if you have the fanciest stuff. It doesn't matter what you have. As long as you have, start with where you're at. Start with what you have. If God has called you to do a YouTube channel and you don't even have any editing software, you don't have a fancy camera, you don't have fancy backdrops and a nice office to film in, because I don't have any of those things. I don't have a fancy office. I don't have a fancy backdrop. I don't have a fancy camera. I don't have any lighting whatsoever, just other than the lighting that I get from my window. I barely purchased a microphone, which I don't have in, by the way, which I should have had in. I'm sorry. So this video may be a little low. I just barely purchased a microphone. I don't have a tripod. I have my camera sitting on propped up with a candle behind it, and I've got my phone sitting on my kitchen counter. I'm filming. I don't have anything special, nothing. The software that I use is Wondershare. It was a software that I had purchased a couple of years ago when I was doing my YouTube video and I actually had fancy stuff. I mean, I was doing my YouTube channel on fashion. I was a fashion blogger and makeup fashionista back then. That's long since passed away. That's a long story and another story for another day. But I had purchased a software program, which is nothing fancy. It's not Apple, Mac. I have a very old 5-year-old laptop that I still use. It's a Toshiba. It's very old. It's very slow. That thing is a pain, but I still use it because it's what I have. So I upload my videos on there. I use that Wondershare software, which is a very cheap, inexpensive software that I purchased back then when I was doing my fancy YouTube videos. And I'm using my Galaxy Note 5, which I think they're on the 8 or 9 by now. My Galaxy Note 5 to record my videos on, and I'm here on YouTube. So if I can do it with very minimal things, you can do it. Like I said, my stuff is very old. My phone is old. My computer's old. I don't have a tripod. You know, there's so many things I don't have, but I'm still on here because I'm obeying the call of God, and I'm trusting Him as I keep going along, that He will bless me with the things that I need and that He wants me to have for me to continue to do these videos. But right now, He's still enabled me to do them, so that's what I'm doing. But my message, like I said, in all of this is do what God has called you to do, no matter what anybody says, no matter what obstacles you might have in your way, no matter what anybody thinks about you, no matter what. Do what God has called you to do, and do it in faith, okay? I love you guys. Hope you guys have a good day. Bye.